Great Pumpkin Race, I believe is what it was called. Monroeville parked this morning. Finished first overall. I think it was 17:54. The official time was. A little chilly this morning. Frost was just breaking off the ground as I pulled in. Got a little bit warmer. I don't know if it broke 40 or not before the race started. Definitely did by the time it ended. I think it's like 55 now. It's supposed to get up to 75 today. So temps steadily increasing as the day goes on. I don't know. I did 20 miles yesterday, so I wasn't really sure how I was going to do or hold up, how the legs felt this morning. On the way down, wasn't really too motivated. It's like, do I really want to go? And even getting out of bed this morning, I was like, I should probably just sleep in and just say the hell with it. You know, relax for the day. Glad I went though. Well, obviously because I won, but even when I got there, I was kind of deflated for a little bit. Well, I parked on this little hill, like overflow parking that they had, so it was actually in between the start and the finish, which was nice. But from there, after I registered for the day, got my bib and stuff, I just happened to look down at the signs in from my vehicle, and I saw like lap 2, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't know what the course was going to be like beforehand, because I never did this race. Then I saw lap, and I'm like, oh, do we really have to do laps? I was like, this is going to suck. So I was sort of deflated for a while. Actually, probably for the first lap, to be honest with you. Because I was like, man, I just don't really want to do laps at all. I just feel like it's going to be horrible. But at the start line, I did get clarification a little bit from my buddy that it's not just like 3 laps of the same thing. It's loops of, I guess, different course. So there's really, so you do 3 laps. First and third aren't really miles at all. They're a little bit shy. I think they're like 0.75 each. So the middle lap is like 1.5 miles, roughly. I'm just trying to remember offhand what these were. So I broke it up a little bit. You did, first lap was like the short one, then you did the big long one, and then you did another short one. If memory serves me right, the first and third are the same, and the second's the different one. Which is sort of nice, because the way the finish line's set up, I wish I would have taken more pictures and videoed this to give you a better idea. But so if you're going out for your third lap, there's like 2 lanes like coming into the finish line. So if you're running it, if you're running and looking forward, if you're going out for your third lap, you're staying to the right. If you're finishing your third lap, you stay to the left. So you're doing like a, I don't know what kind of motion. It's almost like a Y type deal, but a looping Y. Hard to explain, I guess. So yeah. So then, as you're coming in the finish, you can see people coming up. Alright, I'm trying to think how to explain this. So if you're standing at the finish line looking out at people coming in, you can see them coming up from your right and taking a loop around, like a 0 on a keyboard or something. If you type in a 0, how it like does like a loop in. you can see they're doing that. But if they're on the second loop going off for the third, they're on your left-hand side doing the same thing. They're doing like a loop in as they're both hitting like the lanes. So it's kind of nice to see like the people on the second loop and people coming in, like finishing up their third and then coming into the finish line. I know that's a horrible explanation, but whatever, it works. It actually wasn't that bad running it. Once you actually got out there, they did have 1s, 2s, and 3s on the trail itself, but there's also a couple other numbers like mileage markers, and then I think just normal markings for the walking trails around the park, if I ain't mistaken, because I saw like 1.8 in like yellow, but we were following like white arrows and stuff. They did have volunteers at all the turns, and that was a concern too, since I'd never really been to that. I think I was there for a terrain race a couple years ago, but you know, that's an OCR. This is like a road race, so I'm not really familiar with the park at all, and how things are set up down there. It's a nice park though. Let's see here. But yeah, I got lucky since I was in the lead for most of the race, or I could see the lead person. We were following a gator, so they had a gator on the trail the whole time leading us. So that took a lot of stress off me, not having to pay attention where we're going or trying to listen to volunteers tell me which way to go and keep track. The dude is actually keeping track for me, basically. As long as I followed him, I was good to go, which was awesome. Just made the race so much better for me. And I think once you got going and then you see people in front of you, it became a lot easier for everybody else as well to follow the person in front of them. But again, I'm glad they had the gator in the front, because I think if you don't have a gator leading people or somebody on a bicycle leading people, it opens up the opportunity for people to get lost very, very easily. So that was definitely a smart move on them, because you don't want to listen to a volunteer tell you to go one way, and if you're listening to music, or they might not know for sure, or you know, you take a wrong turn not intentionally, and then you're blow your race anyhow. But out the gate, I didn't start on the start front pack. I let a couple of people in front of me. I was in the second row. There's like 5 people in front of me that looked like they were actually going to run a little bit. The plan was to hang back and only run as fast as I needed to today, and let the field dictate pace. And if somebody was going to go out and drop like a 16 or something, so be it. Let them, you know, don't blow up a red line. Just trying to stay with them early on. And then do what you can the second half of the race, depending on where your position is. But the one dude took off right away. I think he was wearing Batman. He was dropping like a low 5 or something like that at the start, because I was in the 5:30s. He got a quick little jump in front of me, and I was like, well, if he's going to maintain that, so be it. There's no way I'm catching him anyhow. But I was like, I don't think he's going to, so I'm just going to, you know, hang back a little bit and run my own race and see how things play out. I mean, if you're wearing a costume and he had a cape on, I felt the wind was going to interfere with him at some point. I mean, I guess if you're really fast, you're not going to notice it, but the wind drag eventually is going to catch up with you and just make you more tired. It's usually why I don't dress up, because if you're wearing a costume, you're more or less going to get overheated at some point, or it's not aerodynamic, so you're going to be more tired because you're just dragging more. Just the way the costume's set up. So anyway, I hung back. He jumped out to like 5 to 10 second lead on me. And I was like, all right, just stay steady, just keep running, you know, a comfortable pace. Which again, it was like for the first mile or so, I would say it was like a 5:30-ish. So even a little faster than I probably would have, but I felt good, and so I ran with it. Then I just kept slowly reeling him in as I was staying steady. I think between a half, it was before the first loop ended, is when I took him. So, at least I believe it was. I could be wrong. Maybe it was the second loop. Either way, pretty sure it was in the first, before the end of the first loop, somewhere between a half mile and it would have been 7/10 is what I took him. I just slowly gained on him. Then I was just gonna actually pace off for a while because there was enough room. But I was just at a comfortable pace, and I didn't want to screw up my mechanics or change anything I was doing at the time. So I went right around him. Was on his side for a second or two before I just took over the lead from there, and then just gained continually on from that. So that was nice. Again, I could see the gator the whole time because, you know, even with the lead that the dude had, it was easy to follow because it was still within eyesight. And then once I had the lead, it was just nice, you know, just having it like right in front of me. The only downfall was it might have been a diesel gator because I could definitely feel the fumes, which is always a concern for me because once those fumes get in my lungs, then I'm just like, makes me tired and then makes me sick. So I tried to stay on the left-hand side of the gator because it seemed like when I went on the right-hand side is when I got the fumes. So I'm guessing the exhaust was on the right. Just a little tidbit in the look into my thinking. Yeah, just going around the corners and stuff. You know, there was a lot of sharp corners, just corners in general today. No traffic, it was all stopped. A couple walkers on the trail that were just like dead center in the middle of the trail, and I'm like, pick a side. I think 2 women actually yelled at the dude on the gator because he was on the trail, and I'm like, dude, it's a race. Pay attention to what's going on, ladies. One of those little things. I think they got mad, but whatever, because he was on the trail. I don't want to say it's a trail. It's actually, well, whatever, walking trail. It's actually smooth asphalt the whole time. No gravel or anything like that, which is awesome. It's basically running on road, just as a walking trail. Plus with that asphalt, it's a little bit more cushiony. At least this asphalt was. And I think, I don't know how much the rest of the field did, but me personally, I would say less than half of a mile is when I interacted with other people. So people were coming at me, like towards me, and I was headed out. I would say it's more like 2 or 3/10 of the race is the only time that I really had people crisscrossing with me. So that was also nice. But again, I don't know if I was just because I was in the lead and it got worse later on for people, or if that was just how the course. I'd have to look at the map. I didn't get to really look at it yet. But yeah, cool medal. It's somewhere up here. There it is. I don't know if you can see it real good. Either way, there it is. They had some Panera bagel things at the finish line and some Gatorade water. Had a little health fair thing there too. I'm not sure what this was benefiting today. I know they said it. And UPMC East was over with a couple different health tables. And I think it was some kind of community, Monroeville Community Foundation. That I don't know. I don't want to screw it up. But it actually turned out to be a nice day and a nice race. A couple other people said it can be confusing, but if like once the race is over, you're like, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it's really not monotonous at all. At least I didn't get that feeling, because again, you're doing a small loop, then you're doing the big loop, and then you're going back to the small loop again. And if you're actually running it, it's not like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, like back to back. We're even doing the 2 laps back to back. So that break up in between is really nice. But I guess once I took the lead, I was basically in control the rest of the race, controlling my own destiny. The legs felt pretty good, but I didn't really push to red line. I just ran smooth, and I think the way the course is set up, it's a bunch of little small rollingness to it. I wouldn't even say it's rolling hills, I'd say it's just rollingness. Like, more like ripples in a little creek or spring or something like that. Not in a, not ripples in a raging river, you know, or like a waterfall. Just like little, you know, 5, maybe 10 foot at the most, like little dips. So you're constantly working different muscles, so your muscles aren't really having time to, per se, get tired or wear out. So you're just constantly, I don't want to say changing it up, but you're not hammering down on one specific muscle or engaging one specific muscle, like groups for like uphills, downhills, or flats for that long of a stretch, maybe 15, 20 seconds before, you know, to get in like another dip or something like that. So they have time to recover before they get re-engaged, or they don't even have to really recover because you're not using them enough where they need to recover. Plus there's a couple of those turns, I don't know what kind of field. I know one was like a softball field, looking field, or Little League. I think one was like a basketball or tennis court. They were like, I'm gonna call them like NASCAR turns. They weren't like 90-degree angles, they were like looping turns. So you could actually get more like a whip effect if you like leaned into like the fence a little bit as you're running. You could feel like the whip effect, like pulling you along a lot faster without the effort. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know how to explain that, but it happens. I guess once you run so fast at a certain point, you know, and you start leaning into like turns and stuff, you can feel like it's pulling you and pulling you along a lot better. At least I feel that. So if, I don't know, it just happens. Other than that, I think that's about it. I'm glad I went. I had fun. Saw some friends. Talked to some other people. Met some people today. Some people had some cool costumes. Wasn't a huge crowd. I think it was smaller than last year, runner-wise. Maybe not Walker, but hell, it's a nice day. There should have been a ton of people. It just might be that looping that threw people off. But it's, again, it's like second year. So guess what? I have the course record too. Yeah. if that really matters. It's only its second year. But I'll take that little feather in my cap today too. Since I lost one last week, I'll reclaim another one. But yeah, for being a second year race, I would say it should grow. But it's one of those hit or miss things depending on weather as well. If people are going to show up. Guess that's it. Till the next one. Oh, yeah. So I still feel good. My legs still feel good. My body still feels good. After the 20 miles yesterday and like the 5 sessions that I broke it up into. Except yesterday my back was hurting a little bit. I don't know if it's my kidneys or like me pulling my back. So I was kind of worried about that coming in, but I put some icy hot before I left this morning. I even switched out my normal breakfast standing to some French toast sticks because I ran out. I didn't know how that was going to play out race-wise, but I forgot about it till just now. And it seemed the French toast sticks seemed to be an alright alternative for breakfast if I need to use them again. Not that it's my most ideal, because I'd rather have more protein instead of carbs, just to keep me fueled longer, but still works. So yes, until next week, which is another Halloween race, Monroeville. I think that's the only thing I'm doing next week's the 5K.